Hello, Braves country. It's Coach Ken Anderson coming to you for Hardcore Braves. And tonight, got my main man Ryan on. How you doing?
I mean, look, man, it kind of didn't go exactly how we thought it was going to go, but we won two out of three just like we thought we would. And I mean, again, game three was not anything to write home about, but two out of three against a team that's probably going to be in the postseason, have another deep run in the American League as long as they can get healthy. I will take that every day of the week. So I'm doing pretty good, Ken. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, and I'll get to my comment on Game 3 when we get to there. But as far as coming in, the Blue Jays have actually been playing pretty decent baseball to get back toward 500. So to take 2 out of 3, I'll take it. So let's get to how it went down. Game 1, we had Mr. Bryce Elder against Kevin Gossman. And Elder, and it's funny. We have got to this certain point with him, Ryan, that Elder can have a normal major league start and be a really good starting start for a starting pitcher. And Braves fans like, is he all right? Everything okay? He went 5 and 2 to 2/3 innings, 3 runs, 6 hits, 6 Ks, pretty much a normal, better than average MLB starter start. What do you think about Bryce?
I think that was a big improvement from what he had in Boston, right? I mean, he bounced back pretty nice. He was still fighting himself a little bit out there. I mean, the stuff was sharper in this game than it was in his previous start, but I think there's more improvement. So, again, if that's Bryce kind of feeling his way through his start, is 5 and 2/3, 2 to 3 earned runs, and giving your team a chance to win, I take that every day of the week. So, Bryce, again, he's kind of been a staple in the rotation for us, and you come to expect him to give you 6, 7 innings of 1 to 2 run baseball. And when it doesn't happen, you kind of worry about him a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to give us the sixth or seventh. Even the guy that we going to talk about in 3 got into the deep into the sixth. So it's manageable. We'll get to the back end of the questions on Bryce later. But as far as the offense, Kevin Gossman's really good, by the way, guys. And we knew it was going to be tough. We talked about it on the Braves hip coil. But we got off to a good start. Ronald walked, and Michael Harris an absolute P. When Dalton Varsho can't get to a ball in center field because you hit it too hard, because he got a good jump, was right on it. That ball was hit so hard, Varsho couldn't make a catch. That's kind of how we envision Braves doing well when Ronnie and Mike can do that to start a game, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, Michael got off to a good start in the series. That was an absolute P to center field. When those two guys are creating havoc and Ronald's getting on base, stealing bags, and you got Michael who has actually had a lot better discipline here of late, and he's had really good pitch selection. He's doing damage like he's doing, man. That's a lethal 1-2 combo at the top of the lineup, and then you throw Mr. MVP candidate in the mix and Matt Olson right behind him. I mean, that's a lethal 1-2-3 combination, and it's only going to get deeper once Drake Baldwin returns, hopefully, in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah. A 2-0 lead, Ozzy, and we'll get to him a little bit later on too in this game. But gets up 2-0. Ozzy hits a sac fly after Matt had a double, and so that was good. And then Okamoto went deep. It was actually a pretty good pitch. He just went out there and got it. And they said the ball was really flying to right field, so that made sense because it was really kind of a good pitch. The guy in front of it, Nathan Lucas, we could not get out the whole 3-game series. So he gets on base. They tie it up. I didn't think it was that bad of a pitch to Okamoto. What about you?
No, I mean, look, if you want to nitpick, it probably called a little bit too much to the third instead of the corner, but I mean, dude still had to sit back, drive the ball to right field, and that's never easy for a right-handed hitter, and it was a two-strike count, so I mean, there you just kind of tip your hat. I look, early in the game, I don't want to walk, and I don't want to have a potential big inning right there. So you made him beat him. You gave up the 2 runs. You got out of the inning tied and squared away, and it gave your offense a chance to come back and put more runs up on the board and not be behind. So I'll take that any day of the week instead of a 3-run dong.
Yeah. So the game's 2-2. We get a little bit later on. Ozzy gets a big hit. He goes down, hits an outside pitch, and it's just perfect at bat against Gosman because he took it and he just slurred it into left field, and we take a lead 3-2. Ozzy actually had a pretty good series this week, and we'll talk about what he did on the second game. But overall, Ozzy had a good series.
Yes, he did. I mean, look, I think I saw somewhere where Ozzy's like first month and a half or whatever it was, he had like a not like a 9 something OPS and his WRC was like 186, which is ridiculous. And then he went on a cold spell for a month where his WRC plus was like 15 or 20. And now these last 6 games it's like over 200. So again, Ozzy's a streaky hitter. He's going to have his peaks and valleys, but he's going to come out on the other side. And right now, I think you're seeing the 2.0 Ozzy heater for 2026 right now.
Yeah, and I think we'll get more of that as the season goes on. These little dips and back up. So Ozzy's playing well. The one guy that everybody thought, well, we found our shortstop. Me and you warned them. And not just us. I mean, I got to give credit to all the other talking podcasts. If you listen to any of the podcasts, I got to give them credit too. Every podcast that don't think Mateo's our starting shortstop, he looked overmatched against Kevin Gossman. And then in game 3, he looked even worse against their reliever, which is Jeff Hoffman, who has been terrible lately. I think Mateo serves a role, and that's on the bench. And let's just move away from starting shortstop.
Yeah, look, I mean, we tried telling you guys the Cincinnati series, and again, no disrespect to their pitchers, they weren't. They're not great big league pitchers, right? I mean, you can look at the numbers and tell that they're below average. They don't throw high velocity. They have trouble hitting their spots, and they gave up a lot of loud contact, and the Braves took advantage of it, right? Like I kind of warned everybody coming into the series, we're really going to see how locked in Ronald Acuna Jr. was because he was not facing high velocity and he was not worried about getting pitched inside. Well, we kind of saw how that went in this series. I think he hit like a buck 80 this series. He was not good. Couldn't touch anything above at the belt. So, and it's kind of the same thing with Mateo. He got hot right as he was facing great pitching, and now, you face Kevin Gausman game 1. Patrick Corbin can kind of hit his spots in game 2, and then you face the Jays bullpen in game 3. It just, you faced better pitching, and Mateo was unfortunately overmatched in those situations, and we already kind of knew that. He's had a track record of a big league career that is not a starting shortstop. He serves a great role. He can be a stopgap. He can be a pinch runner. He can even fill in for a couple days to give some guys blows here and there, but he's not a guy who you can go pencil in the lineup for 145 games a year and be like, that's going to be my guy and expect to have a good season as out of your shortstop position. I'm sorry. He's just not that caliber player.
We'll get to it as we get closer to the trade deadline. That's the reason why adding another bat in the outfield where Dubon can go play short if Kim doesn't come around seems like the primo way to go. So we'll talk about that down the road. But everybody kind of in Braves country realizes that. So we'll see how Alex approaches that. So how would we win the game? Well, Matt Olson comes up, and this is a good thing that Matt Olson can hit a ball about 340 foot in the air. And he hit one 340 foot in the air. He thought it was a fly ball, but the wind was blowing out, and those are the kind of balls that go out. It literally, from my position, I'm third deck, press level. It went above the stadium, Ryan. They don't get too many balls that go above the stadium go out of the ballpark. That one did. It was beautiful and majestic. And then I got to see the highlight when Matt dropped his bat, thought he was out. So what'd you think about the home run?
I didn't think it was a homer. I was like, that's going to be a routine fly ball to right field. And then I remembered in the back of my head, I was like, wait a second. Wind's blowing out that way. I was like, that thing's got a chance. And sure enough, the right fielder kept going back. And then he's like, there's no shot this ball's going. He looked up, and it just sneaks over into the fernery in the chop house. So it was a very nice surprise, very nice feeling, especially for Matt when you think you just have a routine fly out and it turns into a home run in the stat sheet. So, you take those when you get them because you're going to have a lot more line outs than you do those coming throughout the season.
Yeah, and I like seeing this highlight as back to the defense. Sammy Leon come in this game 1 for 8 on challenge. He'd been struggling. Well, he fixed that. He went 4 for 4. That's pretty hard to do. I don't care how the umpire was Mark Wegner, who's actually a pretty decent umpire. He nailed all 4 of them. And then we go ahead and get this right here. He gets 2 more. He's 6 for 6 in this series. And Ronald Acuna was 2 for 2. Are we learning how to do challenges now? Right?
God, I hope so. I hope so. Because you even saw Ronald be excited because he got one right, and it wasn't one that was in the heart of the damn play for once in his life. So I hope we're learning the challenge system a little bit. I hope we're getting more efficient at it. I still think guys should have the freedom on a pitch that they 100% know is out of the strike zone that has had absolutely no chance of being a strike. I think they should be able to tap that. But anything that they think's borderline and it's in a situation they don't want to use, then that's when you kind of pull in the reins a little bit. So I think they're still figuring out. I think all major league teams are still trying to figure out the challenge system and how they want to use it.
Yeah, the difficult part is whether you use it early in the game or late in the game to worry. I say, like Ryan, if you're pretty sure, go ahead and challenge it. There's some calls in game three with an umpire who normally struggles behind the plate. We should have challenged a lot more. Could have changed the game. I mean, you don't ever know. So I think we got to learn the umpires. I think studying the umpires will make a big difference. If this umpire struggles, you need to make more challenge. And if he happens to get two of them right and you miss them, then you just shake it off because most of the time they're not. The umpire tonight's one of the worst, and game three is one of the worst umpires we have in Major League Baseball. So he called one on Dominic Smith tonight, not to get off track, about a foot outside. So we take the lead. Here's the majestic home run if you're watching on YouTube. The best part of it is Panago in left field. He just, oh man, Lord, what? So that's beautiful. So we had to bring in Suarez and Iglesias to save the game. Here's an interesting thing. They did give up some hits, guys. That's going to happen. And even to me, I got to say to me, they give up a couple hits in both innings. They're human. They're going to give up hits, but they really show nails, and they shut out the Blue Jays, and we get a 4-3 win. What do you take away from their performance? Anything else from the game?
Sometimes you got to give credit to the other team, right? The Blue Jays can hit; they just don't slug very well, and I think that was kind of evident. Like they had a lot of base hits, they just never slugged the entire series. Kind of like what we broke down with Rob from the Blue Jays pod. Um, and give credit to Rob Suarez and Iggy. I mean, they came in, they're like, oh crap, and they because the Blue Jays had a good approach and they made adjustments on the fly to get out of the inning. Like Suarez started not throwing this changeup as much, and he really started blowing the heater upstairs against them, and that's what got him out of the inning. And then once they started seeing that, then he's like, okay, here's one below the zone when you're thinking fastball, and then he was able to get him to chase a little bit. Iglesias recognized they were going heavy, attacking his fastball heavy up in the zone, so he started getting it down in the zone, and then he started tunneling the changeup off of that to get him to chase below the zone. So I give credit to the two elite studs that we have in the back end for making in-game adjustments to keep the game in a 4-3 victory for us, because if they kept doing the same thing that they're accustomed to doing that was working for them and not making that adjustment, we probably lose game one.
Yeah, veteran backing guys. So I think we're going to probably go try to pick up another one. So bullpen was good. So let's get to game two. Braves come out. It's Grant Holmes. And by the way, I'm going to fix something because I get fat finger when I put my nose. Bryce went 6 2/3 innings, so he got all the way into the seventh inning. So good for Big Texas. All right, game two. Braves take Grant Holmes to the mound against Patrick Corbin, who's been really good for them. And Holmes had a very weird start. Holmes had traffic everywhere, and went 6 innings though. Only had 4 strikeouts. He only gave up 2 runs, and it's kind of interesting. Grant's just a bulldog type pitcher. This time had nothing to do with first, second, third time through the order because they had guys on the whole game. And it really shows you, I'm not getting into this argument again, but it shows you why he could be a great relief pitcher because it doesn't bother him when guys get on base. Ryan, what'd you think about Grant Holmes?
I mean, it's just kind of the epitome of what Grant Holmes is, right? It wasn't just one inning this time. It was, it really came around to getting though when the top of that lineup came around. It seemed like every time that top of the order came through, that 1 through 4, they gave him fits, and he had a hard time figuring it out. But he was able to maneuver through those top 4. He was able to work past them and get to the weaker part of the lineup, and he was able to figure out how to get outs and get out of innings, and that's what we needed. I mean, not every lineup is he going to be able to do that. Is he going to be able to do that in a postseason start when the lineups are better? Probably not. Probably not. That's why I still think that he fits this team better in a bullpen role because you can pick and choose spots for Grant Holmes to come in and be effective with the arsenal that he has. But again, you can't complain with the results. What he did in this game, because he ate up innings, he kept the game in reach where the offense could pop off and score runs and put you in a good position to win the ball game. And so he's the epitome, literally, of a number 4 or 5 starter. Is it great? Is it good? It's not great. It can be good, but it's mediocre most of the time, and you can live with it. So, but is there room for improvement of adding a starting pitcher to this rotation to be better? Absolutely. Grant Holmes, in my opinion, after the trade deadline, or when we get healthy, should be moved to the bullpen.
Yeah, and for the Holmes truthers, they are 9-3 in the games he pitches. So the reason that is because Garrett gives them a chance to win. So we're not saying that we don't notice that too. We're just saying we think we could be even better if he goes to the pen. Offensively, we had a good night actually. Matt Olson 3 for 4, Ozzie 2 for 4. Dubon had 1 hit, but it was the big hit. So we go down to 2-1. Runners on second and third, 2 out, and Mauricio hits an absolute P. He went back to Chipper Jones like he did in spring training to get fixed, and Chipper went the whole thing, hit it to State Farm, and Dubon did that for a big 3-run shot to give us the lead. Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, you get the stats on Doobie every time with runners scoring position, runners on base, and he's an elite hitter in those situations. And I listen, I knew Doobie had some pop. Right center field, that's probably what 390, 400 territory out there. I didn't think Doobie had oppo power like that, but I mean, kudos to him for listening to a Hall of Fame third baseman who put up a pretty dang good career focusing on driving into the opposite field gap and staying in that that tunnel, that approach as a hitter, and it's paying off for him. It's been paying off for him the entire season. I mean, he got out of whack a little bit there for a couple weeks, but for him to be able to just dial it in back like that and still come through in the clutch situations like he's been doing and taking a load off the big guys. When somebody like that comes through and pops a 3-run bomb, everybody just seemed to kind of relax and let loose, and they let their approaches play a lot better after that point, is what I noticed. We really struggled early against Corbin. I don't know if anybody noticed, but we were really chasing. We weren't getting him up in the zone. We weren't being patient and waiting on pitches that we could hit. We chased, but after Dubon hit that 3-run bomb, that's when you started seeing the approach come into play. They were making him get the ball up. They weren't chasing anything low in the zone, and we added, I think, 3 or 4 more runs after that. So kudos to Doobie.
Yeah, and Bo interviewed him after the game. He's hitting 440 with 2 outs and runners in scoring position, and he's hitting like a $185 with nobody on. And so they asked him why, and he said, I was brought here to be a clutch hitter, which he is. So he knows what his role is, and he does a good job. The Blue Jays were in this game again because Nathan Lucas, we can't get him out. You're watching on YouTube, he had an absolute bomb into the chop house. So it's a 4-2 ball game, and we're just kind of middling around, and they bring their bullpen in, and Ozzie, who was 2 for 4, hits an absolute P into the left field bullpen. Ball didn't get more than about, I'm saying 7,500 foot off the ground, Ryan. It was a line drive and into the bullpen. So it's when Ozzie starts hitting the ball like that from the right side against these left-handers, you can tell Ozzie is back in it. He had some really good swings in this game.
Yeah, he's been looking really good. I mean, this series, and he started showing signs back in Cincinnati, but he really started putting together this series. And I think that ball got out of the ballpark in under 3 seconds. He absolutely torched that thing off the facade of the second deck. I mean, the cameraman couldn't even find it, and then all you see is the ball hit off the facade and come back onto the field of play. That's how hard he hit that ball. I think it was like 107 off the bat. Very good to see. He's been a little off right-handed, so for him to have a good game right-handed and really turn on some balls and hit some hard line drives was really good to see. I mean, look, we all know Ozzie's a streaky hitter. He's going to go through his peaks and valleys, but when he is on the heater, he can carry a ball club for an extended period of time, and it looks like we're about to see another Ozzie heater for the year.
Yeah, I agree. So game 7-2, we had already opened it up before we decided to bring Suarez, but Dylan had pitched a scoreless inning. Dylan Lee, and then Suarez pitched a scoreless inning. So we get to the ninth inning, and Tyler Kenley comes in, and he hangs another slider, gets hit into the chop house. And I think that's the ultimate. I think Tyler's going to help us. I'm not trying to dog on Tyler, but I think that's why we need one more arm in the bullpen, just in case we need somebody to add to the three. Because you really like to have four guys that can pitch late in the end of the ball game. Is that how you feel also, Ryan?
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you, Ken. I would be okay adding not just one lefty, but two lefties. Not you don't necessarily. I don't think you need another right-hander because you're eventually going to push Grant back into that bullpen. I think. I think we all know that's coming. But if you can get a high leverage left-handed reliever and then another left-handed reliever to go in there to spell Dylan, because then you'll have two high leverage lefties, you got two high leverage right-handers, then you can have Grant who could be a high leverage multi-inning guy in situations. I think your bullpen would be set up really, really well in that situation. And to add, I don't know, maybe two lefties is too much, but we've been lacking left-handed pitching in the bullpen this year. Dylan's been doing a great job, but if you could find somebody that's better than Dylan Dodd, and this is like a year that you are circling to win the World Series, I think you make the push to go get that better reliever, in my opinion, because you can develop Dodd later in the career, right? Like you can wait till next season to have him. You have a window to go get the World Series.
Got got a big chart and trying to figure out exactly. I think there's going to try to piece this pitching staff together. The other thing that happened really good in this game is Austin Riley played really good defense. He made some plays in defense that were excellent. So overall, we can all talk. We're done talking about Austin Riley pretty much as the hitter. But the fact of the matter is, at least he's not taking it to the field, and that you give him kind of a gold star. So he's not taking it out to the field, and he's making plays. Uh, and his plays Wednesday night were very good, Ryan.
Yeah, he looked like Brooks Robinson over there at third base for this series. I mean, he played really well defensively. Thankfully, he is doing that well. He is. We all know he's struggling at the plate. I think struggling is a very nice term at this point. But for the fact that he's not taking the clubhouse, he's not changing who he is to guys in the clubhouse. He's playing great defense, and he takes pride in playing good defense. So it's not letting him his stuff at the plate's not affecting other areas of him as a baseball player. It's a good thing. That's a really good sign of a good clubhouse guy. That's a great sign of a good player and a good person. So that's why you try to pull for Austin Riley to pull out of his slump, because he is that person. He is that player. He is that teammate. So it is nice to see that he is contributing at least defensively right now.
Yep, I is too. So we guarantee another winning series, number 17 of the year, I think, and we've lost two and tied one. So we go to game three and try to get a sweep. And my wife said tonight, we just can't get a sweep. I said, baby, it's hard to get sweeps, especially if they throw a bullpen game. I texted Ryan, we got to have one of the worst record in bullpen games. We do not do well in these games. I will say this here. Let's do the offense first. Me and him got in a big debate before we got on here. We like to get into debates, get us fired up, come on here. I think we're both right. I think you could go halfway with some bad approaches. There are a few guys who had good approaches, but overall it was a lackluster night. 4 hits. The one person who had a really good approach was Dubon, who hit a home run again. And Yastrzemski had a good approach. He went 0 for 3, but hit 3 line drives over 100 miles an hour. But overall, it's a lackluster performance by the offense tonight.
Yeah, and look, not everybody had a terrible approach, right? And it's not easy doing a bullpen game because you can't game plan before, right? So you're just kind of going to the iPad. You're trying to figure out what this guy throws, what he likes to throw in certain counts, and you're going based off of that, and it's not always easy. But I think we did a poor job against the bulk inning guy, right? The young kid coming up from AAA that just, in my opinion, didn't have enough to get us out, but he got us out, and we didn't put runs up on the board like we should have against him. I think that's the most disappointing part. It's not their back end of the bullpen. The Tyler Rogers, the Varlins, those guys, like you knew those guys were going to be tough. It's going to be tough to hit them and score runs off them. But that bulk guy, I feel like we should have had better at bats, better approaches, and done more damage against him.
Yeah, give you a stat. He only threw 6 fastballs out of 68 pitches tonight. So it's almost like facing an adult league pitcher because adult league pitchers go out there and throw all off speed. Yeah, so we're definitely not ready, but we know sometimes we can be a funky team against off speed. So not a lot to say about the offense. Let's talk about the pitching and how it went tonight. We had two good and one off, and then we had one bad. So we'll talk about the one that was a little off. Chris Sale, and I got a comment back to me when I did my game recap. He had a great night tonight. He did not have a great night. Listen to Chris Sale's comments. Just was off. His command's off, and they talked about the days off he's getting. And he said that staff needs to deserve better. We know why the Braves are doing this. They want him to be the number one starter when it comes to October. But is this something they may have to adjust and give him a couple of starts, 5 days rest here, Ryan, just to get him off of rust?
Um, Not. I think right now you keep trying to plug it along as is because you need him healthy, right? And you got a freaking 8 game lead in the NL East, so it's not like we're panicking right now. But I can see once you get into August, once you get into September, to start putting him on that regular 5 days rest or that 5 day routine where he's pitching every fifth day, just because you want him at his top tier when it's going into October. Now, is he going to be pitching? He should be pitching every 5 days when it comes to October. So you kind of want him to get on that routine again. You don't want him to get used to having too much rest, and you want him primed and ready to rock and roll. So I can see them doing this up until that point. I mean, it's not going to hurt my feelings if they put him back on a regular schedule, but I just don't see that happening right now, especially with the prime spot the Braves have put themselves in. They've earned the right to rest some guys if they need to, and I think they're going to.
I agree with Ryan on this. I think the heat's the biggest reason. I don't think you do this while we're going through the hot, and as soon as it cools down in September, you can get him ready by pitching him every fifth day for the postseason. So I'm with Ryan on that. All right, so the good. It's good. The kids, Fuentes and Dodd, both come out solid off the field. We go. They're gonna play big roles for us this season. Both kids throw the ball well. They're getting better, and I see the confidence in both Dieter and Dylan. What about you, Ryan?
Yeah, like I said, Dodds looked really good, right? And I think he's going to be playing a big part in Atlanta's bullpen for the next 5, 6 years, however long we got him on his, basically the rookie contract per se, his ARB years and all that. But again, I still think if you can get a veteran left-handed reliever that's been through the wars, that's been through the postseason, that knows how to handle himself in those situations, and that is still elite, good to elite, I think you still go get it because this is a World Series year and you don't want growing pains in October. But I am happy to see Dylan doing what he's doing because he's proven to everybody that, hey, I can be that guy. One day I can be that guy. So, and right now you got your shot. He's doing exactly what he's supposed to do with it, and he's taking and running with it, and hat tip to him. He's doing a great job.
Yeah, both of them are. I got kind of laughing to myself because we had 4 starting pitchers go out there. Remember, all these were starting pitchers at one time in the Braves organization. So we get to the bad. The Braves cut it to 3-2 and go to the ninth. Now, we knew it was going to be hard because Verlin was already in the game, and Verlin is nasty. He was going to give it 1 run all year. But to Peter Moreland's point on the post game, all of it went away. We probably would have had a chance to put some pressure on him. Michael could have laid down a bunt. Who knows what could have happened. But Reynaldo Lopez had been actually pitching pretty well. He had given running 4 relief appearances. Tonight was not that night. He was right. He was about 8 inches away from getting out of the inning, but then it imploded. He gave up 4 runs. What do you think about Raylo tonight?
He was just bad.
Yeah.
He's just bad the whole way around, right? Like, look, I get I get that point. Like, yeah, he was 8 inches from getting out, but he put himself in a situation where the Blue Jays could do some serious damage. And in a close game, you shouldn't ever put yourself in that situation. Like, look, it's going to happen from time to time. Guys are not going to be sharp. They're not going to have their best stuff. But, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Ken. I mean, his fastball velo was 96, 97 tonight. His slider looked pretty decent, right? So it's just I didn't watch the ninth inning. I was preparing for the show that we were about to do, so you would have to educate me on if his command was off and he was walking guys. But every time I turned around, it just seemed like somebody was getting hard contact off of him. I could be wrong, but it seemed like that every time I turned around, somebody was smoking the baseball off of him.
Yeah, everybody wants to go back to 99, 100, but 97, and yeah, his off speed was not terrible. He did get some long counts, that probably affected them. And then once you get up to 30 something pitches as a relief pitcher, you're going to run out of gas. I think if you could have got the out when it was 4-2, there was a ground ball hit that's the one he's talking about. It probably either way could have been out of it, and it would have been fine. But I'm not worried about Raylo, and we'll just chalk it up. We were probably not winning that game anyhow with Verlin on the mound. So, anything else to add before we get into our play of the series and MVP of the series?
I mean, again, yeah, we ended on a sour note, but 2 out of 3, right? Like, you win the series, you're 42-21 on the year. You're still first in MLB record. You're still first in National League East. You got an 8-game lead over the second place team. You're in a really good spot. You're playing great baseball. Don't let one loss sour your taste because it's just not worth it. The guys are playing really, really well, and we're going into the next series against the Pirates, and we get to skip the best pitcher in baseball, in my opinion, Ken. So things are looking great.
Let's give you one more stat. The Phillies are 23-10 their last 33 games. They're playing the second best baseball in MLB right now, and they've gained literally 2 games on the Braves. So
Yeah.
I mean, they got to be
Whoa.
throwing it. So they know that it's going to be hard to run us down for the division. So Braves just got to keep doing what they're doing. They keep winning series. The Phillies can't catch us. Is what I'm trying to say. They can't play. The Braves keep playing 650, six. The Phillies have to play 800 baseball. They're not going to do it. So just keep winning series, and we'll win the division, and we'll have a chance to hit home field in the playoffs. So with that said, play of the series. What you got?
The Dubon 3-run bomb. That's my play of the series. It took a lot of pressure off the guys that I felt like they were kind of pressing against Patrick Corbin a little bit, even when they shouldn't have been. And once he hit that 3-run bomb, it was kind of like the weight was off. Everybody just settled back in. They started, executing their approaches a lot more, and then that's when you started seeing the runs start piling on them, and base runners, hits, all that came right after that. So that's my play of the series. I think that was a big turning point.
That definitely would be one I would pick too, but I'm going to go with the Matt Olson home run to actually win the game, just because I'm not sure we could have won the series if we lost that game one. But, it would have been tough. So I'll go with Matt Olson. Who's your MVP of the series?
Oh man, let's see. I'm gonna go with Ozzy Albies. I'm gonna go with Ozzy Albies. Had the big another. He drove in a bunch of runs. He had a really good series, a lot of hits. He was on base. I felt like all the time. So I'm gonna go Ozzy. I think there was a couple, but I'm gonna pick Ozzy on this one.
I think there's two, and I'll take the other one just so we get him in. That's Mauricio Dubon. So I think Dubon and Albies are the two that had the best series. And Ozzy had 5 RBIs this series. Pretty good. So, all right. That said, look who's coming. Pittsburgh Pirates. Y'all are not paying attention. The Pirates are a different team. They're 33-29, last playoff spot in the National League, 5.5 out behind the Brewers. Everybody kept saying, boy, if the Pirates could get hitting, they may be pretty good. Well, we're all right about that because what they did, they went out and got Brandon Lau, and they got Ryan O'Hearn. Last year they had got Spencer Horwitz, who stayed banged up. He's not no more. And they went out and got Marcell Ozuna. Now, Marcell Ozuna has not hit this year. He's got a 553 OPS, but I think what he's did is he's got O'Neal Cruz, a good clubhouse guy. Remember, Marcell, how good he is with Latin players. O'Neal has an 817 OPS. So they have 7 hitters over league minimum. And OPS, this team can actually hit. This is going to be a tough series. So what are your first thoughts about the Pirates coming to town?
I'm glad we're not seeing Skeens Daddy. That is a blessing right there. Even though I do enjoy watching him pitch, but that's like an L day just waiting to happen, I feel like. So I look at the pitching matchups. The pitching matchups are not going to be easy, but I think it's something that, again, I feel like this offense can handle. It's again, we've seen better pitching than what we're going to see in this series. Doesn't mean it's not good pitching, but uh, Pirates can hit, but I think it's kind of streaky. So it depends if they're hot or cold right now, how well that's going to go. And I think our pitchers probably pitch pretty. I think they are going to fare pretty well against them. But I think the big question mark, and I'm not hating on Strider. I think Strider's been the most inconsistent with his stuff, and I feel like that can lead to danger with the Pirates, especially with Lau and Cruz and guys that are left-handed hitters, because I don't think he has quite that out pitch that he once did against left-handed hitters, Ken. So I think we can still win 2 out of 3. I'm worried about Strider against the Pirates.
Yeah, we're going to talk about it in the series preview. It's not a great matchup for Spencer. Also, the right-handed hitter in Brian Reynolds and Nicky Gonzalez are tough outs. They usually hit him well. The good thing about this series, we're not facing Skeene. We're also not facing Jones. We're not going 1-2. We're going 3, 4, 5 in their rotation. Those guys are Mitch Keller, who Braves country's cried and wanted to get forever. So you know he's a good pitcher. He throws 7 different pitches. Get on the Braves hip coil and see how we're going to try to break down that kind of pitcher, because he literally throws them all about the same amount. Number 4 in their rotation has actually been their third best pitcher this year, Braxton Ashcraft. He throws gas, but he also has a really nice mix. He throws 5 pitches about similar, so it's going to be a tough ride. 4-10 starting. Remember, the shadows will come into play in that game. Could help Spencer, but it also will help Braxton. Sunday's game is the race car driver. That's how I remember him, Bubba Chandler. He sounds like a race car driver. He gets Big Texas. So really good pitching matchups. But when you have these ball clubs that are really good, usually you should say good pitching matchups. So with that said, how do you think we do? And who is your pick to click to get us there?
We went 2 out of 3. I like 2 of the series matchups, and I think fastball heavy Bubba is going to get he's going to realize real quick he's going to need more in the fastball to get past this lineup. So I think Bubba's from Georgia. I think he's a Georgia kid too. So he's coming home and facing Atlanta. Might have some jitters. He's going to have a lot of people in the crowd. So we'll see how that plays. But 2 out of 3, and I'm not going to go with Andrew because that was such an easy pick. I'm going Ozzie Albies. Going Ozzie. I could see Michael Harris having a really good series too, but I think Ozzie, he's on a heater right now. He's going to see a lot of fastballs this series. I think that plays well for the little monster. I think Ozzie has a good series.
Yeah, he's referring to Andrew on the series preview, and it comes out later today. Guys, he's going to take Matt Olson, so he really stepped out on the limb there. Brian's taking Ozzie. This is kind of a tough one for me because there's some guys that normally if they were hot, I would want to take Ronnie or Austin here. I cannot take them the way they're swinging the bat because they usually eat up this kind of guy with hard throwing. So I'm going to go with the other lefty and he mentioned him. I'm going to go Michael Harris, who kind of was off, but I thought he hit the ball okay. And I think it was kind of a tough matchup a little bit. He got a lot of left-handers against him too in this series. He had Corbin, but they threw Flaherty at him. They threw the kids are missing the name, but he's got a lot of left-handers, so he's going to get more right-handers. Now look, the back end of their bullpen, again, watch the Braves hip coil. They have 2 really good left-handers at the back of this bullpen. So, we're going to need Ronald and Austin to have a good series, but I think we're going to take 2 out of 3. I agree with you. So that's what we got for you tonight. Got any final thoughts?
Again, it's a really good team. It's fun to watch. It's fun to watch every night because you feel like we have a chance to win, and I'm enjoying it because, again, it was two years that we didn't have that feeling, and last year was a big struggle. So enjoy a really good team, Braves country, and as always, go Braves.
My final thought is kind of give you some things. We're working on some different stuff coming up. We got the hip coil's got the hitters meeting for the Pirates. We got a series preview where we kind of look more from the the pitching side for us. I think they'll all be really good shows to watch. Of course, we'll have all that ending again for the Pirate series, but coming Monday, we're going to have Grant McCauley come on, and we're excited about that and get some thoughts from Grant, and I'm excited about that. I talked to him at the game last night and asked him to come on. So he's coming on, so we'll get that. And we're working on some other stuff. I know Ben and Lethal have not had a lot of stuff out as far as videos, but they're still working, and they're thinking about doing their top prospects for the Braves coming up, so we'll be looking for that. The interesting thing is Erin's decided to go ahead and dive, Ryan, into the trade deadline. I hope she has all her energy because we're 60-something days away from it. But she's in, so she's going to have all kind of videos for you. So keep an eye on Erin. She's going to pump it up. And remember, she has her storefront. You don't want to buy anything Fanatics, jump on that, okay? So with that said, we love you, Braves Country. Remember, at Braves Hip Call, at Braves Homer 27, at Boyd PC 15, at Hardcore Braves, and the rest of them you can find at Hardcore Braves to follow them. We appreciate it. We love you, Braves Country. And as always, we're out of here. Peace.
You know what, boys? You guys are going to be world champions for the rest of your life.